Did you guys hear about the company that made the Gollum game?
They apologized for making the Golem game.
Well, yeah, that. I mean, everybody knows how terrible Gollum continues to be as a game. Apparently, they are making another Lord of the Rings game.
Oh, what side character are we gonna have a
We
game
don't
of
know
this
yet.
time?
Nobody knows. Basically, we only know this because they apparently got a grant from the German government, a 2 million euro grant to make games, and apparently various documents show that they are not using this money for, or they did not use this money for Gollum, and they still have available to them the ability to make another Lord of the Rings game. So the assumption is they are going to be making another Lord of the Rings game.
So they got funding for the Golem game elsewhere, but they're still kind of like under an agreement that they use funds they received from Germany to make some. Does it have to be a Lord of the Rings game or just a
I think
game
it is. It is. I think the I don't know what the what their papers or whatever said, but the article I read said it's all but definitely confirmed to be a Lord of the Rings game. We don't know what it's about. We don't know when it's coming out. Possibly next year.
Shire.
You know what? That actually wouldn't be bad. What was that? Was that game I used to see being played? Ostriv.
No, it's going to be Lord of the Rings Tom Bombadil.
Lord of the Rings Tom Bombadil. I mean,
yeah, it's going to be a music rhythm game.
It's just a music rhythm game where you like God mode your way across Middle Earth.
And don't get involved with any of the conflicts. You just don't care.
Tom Bombadil has infinite power, but infinite reluctance to use any of it. Or maybe apathy.
He is above man's petty squabbles.
He's above any squabbles. He's above even his own.
He's so above, causing a ruckus. He's just there to have a good time. And yet, there was a Lord of the Rings game that had him as a playable character, and he was broken.
10 big things.
I will never not bring up Tom Bombadil when it comes to Lord of the Rings because it's Tom fucking Bombadil. I mentioned
motherfucking
they're trying to make another. Yeah, Tom Bombadil fucks. You know he does.
Of course he does. He fucks probably various creatures in the forest all the time.
What are you gonna? Are you gonna tell him no?
No. Can try, and it's not gonna work.
I mean, you could tell him no. Is he gonna listen? No. He does what he wants.
He's too busy singing and dancing. Well, I mean, they made a Star Wars dancing like rhythm game. So why can't they make a Lord of the Rings rhythm game? Just have it star Tom Bombadil.
Because it was awful. You really want people to do the Aragorn?
Yes, I do. You know what? At this point, sure, whatever. Do it. Go ahead. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a rhythm game with like a Eurobeat version of like Into the West from Return of the King? Like what a sad song to dance to. Oh. Or that one was it the end of the second, was it the Two Towers that had that like really like kind of creepy like ending song?
Offhand, I can't think.
That they aped in Rings of Power.
Now I
It
can't.
was like the Empire Strikes Back. It was like a real down note at the end of that movie, and the ending song was like a kind of weird like a villain theme, basically. I actually have all of those soundtracks, and I haven't listened to them for a while. I should start doing that again. I should just watch the movies again at some point soon.
The only theme I'm all about is the Rohirrim.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna have to upgrade this.
I am all about Rohan. If you couldn't guess.
Yeah, I can guess. I can guess. Are you then looking forward to a new Lord of the Rings MMO that they're apparently making? Still attempting to make another one?
Yes, I did see that. I don't
Second or
know
third
if
try?
they're choosing this. I think it's the second right for now. I don't know if they're going to try with the same company they intended to use for all that heavy lifting, but I am aware that they're trying again. But
I mean-
honestly,
Yeah, go ahead.
honestly, it is a lot of work to make an MMO. Do you really want to make an MMO? Like, why not start something small? Make it a multiplayer, just a multiplayer.
It took a long time for the current Lord of the Rings MMO to get off the ground finally. Like, they restarted development on that like 3 times. Like, they started development in like the late 90s, and it didn't come out until like the you know, was it 2000 something, 2010?
And it's still going.
Yeah.
They're still making content for it. So it's like, do you really need an Lord of the Rings, another MMO of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just pour money into that to make it like even better. Like, it's already there, it's already working. All they really need to do is like make the graphics better, make the UI, you know, slicker, stuff like that, which would probably cost a lot less money than
Honestly,
funding a full new
It
MMO.
doesn't look terrible.
They've upgraded
little-
the like post-processing and stuff here and there.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like an old MMO, so there's certain like quality of life things that you find in current ones that aren't there. The first of all being like an activity finder.
Mm.
You know, you have to go into town and yell around to get a group together to do something. I wouldn't mind that. I just kind of wish doing like, you know, dungeon content that they have there was a little bit more intuitive to navigate. I tried running a couple things, but it's not just straightforward like open up your journal and look for, you know, the catacombs, because every fantasy setting has the catacombs in some
Sure.
form or another. It's not clearly laid out. I kind of had to dig around for it, and I aptly refused to like look stuff up until I pretty much hit a wall.
It's kind of one of the problems a long-running MMO has, is that they have so much content, which is great, but like it can be hard to get into that stuff.
So it was a lot of me fiddling around with various systems to figure out, like, okay, how do I sign up or even look for this stuff? Is it like Warcraft, where I had to physically be at the dungeon door in order to run something? I think I then figured it out, but I didn't run it because I didn't feel I by then was so burnt out at trying to like get a group together that I didn't. I just at that point figured out how to look at everything, but I've forgotten since then because I haven't really played Lotaro.
I tried it tried it with you. Was it last year, the year before? And
I think the year before.
I mean, it was fine. It's certainly still kind of an old school sort of MMO. Not too old, but you know, like the mid 2000s, mid late 2000s. Actually, I'll need one of these, but it's fine.
It
and,
is
you know,
a
it was
standard
fine, but,
MMO fare for the most part. I didn't dislike my time with it. It would be certainly one of those things where like I'd like to play with at least another person in a group. It did lend itself to being played co-op a lot easier, unlike a certain other game.
Yeah.
Or not even just that game in particular. A lot of games currently don't do co-op very smoothly. And you would think 2023 we wouldn't have this be a thing, but it is. So I feel like if they did pour some resources into the MMO for Lord of the Rings that is still out and still being run, make some of the systems a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I would say the main things that kept me away from it were the looks were okay, but the looks are definitely dated. I think even with the upgrades that they've done in the past couple of years, it's mostly been just like adding post-processing and like just trying to, you know, cover up a dated graphics. I think they could completely overhaul that. They could probably do better animations as well. For the attacks, they could probably streamline the combat a little bit. Otherwise, I think it's mostly fine. You know, the UI I think is still pretty old.
I think combat operates sort of on a combo system. That if you use a skill, another skill will highlight in the chain. And I know that's something 14 kind of does. Not as not very in depth, but it has a combo system, so it's there. So it's not like it's entirely outdated. Either that 14 is outdated.
I don't think I actually need a level 5. But
I just think it does kind of. It could use some more resources towards it. That and maybe a little reined in with its premium stuff. It's kind of egregious a bit.
it's Mark 5 anyway. Why not? Let's do ready for now. That's more than the other one was doing.
Speaking of games, Street Fighter 6 finally actually released.
It looks kind of cool. I was watching a video, just some guys trying it out, and I mean, it looks, you know, looks nice. I like the something I didn't. I never really saw anything about 5 other than, you know, like when it came out, it was popular, but I heard 5 had its problems, and so I don't think it actually got as big as maybe Capcom wanted it to be.
5's release was not good, and it took some effort over time to actually make it acceptable to fans. Like, I tried it maybe like a few months after release. I borrowed a copy from a friend of mine for the only reason because that when Monster Hunter World released, if you had saved data for Street Fighter V, you got access to I think like a Ryu skin, and I thought that was really neat. So I went and played it. Mostly did like a training room thing, and I'm like, oh man, this is awful. So I played it for like all of 45 minutes.
But I mean, I saw a video of people playing it, and just like looks wise, like it looks really good. Even like not even just from purely a graphical standpoint, but like the UI looks good. The amount of like animation and like shit going on in the backgrounds is really good, and even there's even like people reacting to what you're doing in the backgrounds, which is kind of cool.
So a big thing, and I feel like this should become like a standard. Well, maybe not really a standard, but a thing you should see more often in fighting games, and is it has a single player mode, and it's not like, oh, pick a fighter and you just fight, you know, other fighters and just kind of go through a very basic storyline featuring that character. No, it is a single player little story. You make your character and you kind of go through a story through Metro City. Luke, one of the new guys, takes you on as his teacher, and you kind of like learn how to you learn his fighting style, and you kind of go through a story through there. I don't know the full details because, well, I plan to actually get 6 at some point.
I saw the Zangief story, and it was kind of funny. I don't know if you want me to tell you it or not. They're not long stories, at least I don't know if this is like, it wasn't arcade mode. It was like a story mode, but it was I mean it was set up in the same way. It just happened to have like a few extra little
all the
drawn cutscenes.
All the characters are in the single player, and you can become their apprentice, so you can learn their fighting styles. So you can also increase your like relationship with them, so that you learn things from them. So I'm assuming abilities, fighting style, and so on. And it's a nice change because one of my own personal gripes about fighting games is I like fighting games. I do. But that's usually just it. It is just a fighting game. And my thing is, for me, I get a little bored of that when that's the only thing. I'd like something else to do, and I guess I heard, I think it was Tekken 2 had a side-scrolling beat-em-up where it was just a survival, go for as long as you can.
Yeah.
And that seemed really neat. So hearing the single-player thing for Street Fighter 6 is actually pretty interesting, and I was watching a friend of mine play it, and I kept comparing it to Yakuza. You're just kind of like going around the city and picking fights with people, essentially, to level up your character. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone actually did make Kiryu in Street Fighter 6.
I'm sure they've already done it. There's no way. There's no way they haven't.
But it did kind of have that same sort of vibe of just wandering around this a setting and, getting into fights.
Kiryu doesn't pick fights. He's always just engaging in self-defense.
Yes, because there is always like a bounty or a hit on him, and people will get money if they fight the dragon of Dojima.
He'll pick fights if he's coming to the aid of someone.
But Kiryu's also never killed anyone. Never.
No,
Is
never.
that really picking a fight, though? I don't know if I'd call it picking a fight.
It's, if you want to be technical, yes, because he's doing it in the response of like defending someone's honor or something.
I think it's usually defending someone physically.
Well, all Kiryu has is his fists, and when you tell him you can't solve everything with fists, he just stares at you.
Don't forget the baseball bats, the knives, the like airsoft guns, the Vespa scooters. The bikes, the many bikes.
The rocket launchers.
Yeah.
Don't look at that time he
I'll
shot a
totally-
rocket launcher at a helicopter and it blew up and fell down to the cityscape below. Everyone lived.
Yeah,
Everyone.
they were all fine. You just see him
They were
like
all
parachuting out like in G.I. Joe.
Or the time he was in a high-speed car chase and shooting rockets at pursuing cars. Everyone lived. Japan knows how to explosive-proof their civilian vehicles.
This. We have to.
I
Wasteful
occasionally
as well.
think about the baffling thing of like who could potentially be a guest fighter for Tekken. And some people were confused as to, of all characters they could possibly pull, was Negan from Walking Dead.
Why?
But here's the thing, like, fans were suggesting of like who could be a good fit for a Tekken game, and one of the biggest and most obvious ones is Kiryu.
I remember why. I remember the reason why they didn't use him.
And the reason why is kinda dumb.
The reason why is kind of dumb. But I mean, it's true to the character, I suppose. But it is
true.
unfortunate.
It is true to the character, but you know, he would have fit so perfectly in Tekken. The reason why they did not want him in Tekken movies is because Kiryu would not fight a woman.
Yep.
But I feel like, hasn't he actually fought a woman before? I swear he has at least once.
I don't know. I could not tell you.
Like in Zero, don't you have to fight the trainers that teach him his like different fighting styles? Or do they just like explain the fighting style to you and you try it out on random goons?
They just explain it, as I recall. I don't actually need this. Get more coming through here, but like, it's fine.
When are you gonna play Like a Dragon?
Yeah, I really do want to, but it's problem I have is that there's going to be a lot of references to other like games, not like story references. I mean, like everyone in Like a Dragon is basically from is a character face and personality and voice from the other games, right? Like they're essentially recasting these same people as like new characters, but there's definitely some like referential stuff there.
Yes and no. They aren't really as like, they're not entirely like a one-to-one replacement of characters already established in the franchise as it is. They're kind of their own thing. Like, you could say Ichiban is kind of like Kiryu, but not quite. They both kind of have their own like sense of personal honor, but the way they go about it is, well, like their fighting styles are very different, and amusingly playing to the fact that it is a turn-based RPG as opposed to just a street brawler. Ichiban's fighting style is actually turn-based, meaning I hit you, you hit me, because in his mind that's fair.
Oh, I thought no, never mind. I was confused. I thought you were talking about Ishin.
No, not Ishin.
I was talking about Ishin. with that. Like a Dragon, no. Like a Dragon is definitely a game you could just play at any point. Like, yeah, there are references, but like it was meant to be kind of a new starting off point because they're using like a new character.
Yeah, no, I also want to play each. Well, I kind of want to play them all, really. I just never get around to it. I also don't own them.
My issue
But-
is I play them on stream, and so I only play like 4 hours a week, and those games are long. And I play other games as well. Like God of War is going to take me a while.
You have to play them in chronological order. That means
I actually very much want to.
In order to play Zero, you need to have a time traveling machine and go back to the 80s.
No, I played Zero already. But no, I do actually want to play all of them like in order. The issue is, they're long games, and I'm playing other things, and I only play so much a week. And like I said, I'm playing other things. So like after God of War, I'm seriously considering going ahead and going into Yakuza 3. But like Yakuza 3, of course, is going to take a while, and then I have Yakuza 4 and 5 and 6. 6 would be
Congratulations, you're just going to be a Yakuza streamer.
Yeah, 6 would be like when I could finally branch out and play like other things, because I also want to play Judgment and Lost Judgment. And
don't play the zombie one.
No, I'm not going to play the zombie one. I'd like to play the Fist of the North Star one at some point, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. That's like low on the list. But I want to play,
one and suffer.
No, don't suffer.
And then only after I play, at the very least, Judgment, which is going to be after 6. I'd like to play 7, sure. I've said before, JRPG kind of turn-based style combat is not my favorite, but I like Chrono Trigger, so it's not like I am completely off of that system.
Chrono Trigger is a pseudo turn-based one. It's a little bit different.
Well, you can make that distinction, but to be fair, like, Final Fantasies haven't been fully actual turn-based for years, not since like Final Fantasy 3, basically. Like even 4 had the ATB.
It's the earliest one I've played.
But I'm not making that distinction though. It's still, yes, turns aren't completely in specific order, but it is still they go and then you go and then they go and then you go and then sometimes you go again and then sometimes they go twice, etc. But it's basically the same. It's just the timing is different. I don't make that distinction. I think that's kind of a very pedantic distinction. Like on the like if you're just talking generally about the type of gameplay, it's not that relevant. If you're talking like if you're getting into the mechanics like really deep, then yeah, then it becomes relevant. But like if you're just talking generally about turn-based systems, it's not that relevant. Personally, is what I think. Is Like a Dragon full turn-based, or does it have an ATB style system?
I think it's entirely turn-based. I have not actually personally played it. A friend of mine did, and he streamed it off and on whenever he was in the mood to play it. So as far as I observed, it is entirely turn-based. But is still very much a Yakuza game. It's got all the trappings, just the combat is different. And it has a bestiary.
Of course it does.
There are some weird enemies you can fight. One of them's like a literal garbage man, meaning a man inside of a garbage bag with his legs poking out. I remember a side story you come across where you beat up a guy because he keeps peeing in the river.
All right.
And he had like generic like enemy name of like River Pisser or something.
For the River Pisser.
So he was an enemy type.
The infamous river pisser.
He did it because he liked it and it felt freeing, I think. I want to say, like, you might even fight, like, a version of Mr. Libido.
Good. He should be in every game. Alright, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to... I think the best place for a sink would probably be at the miner instead of here for the coal or for the ore, because I feel like I'm losing a little bit too many ores to this system that I have. How much does this actually need? 20, so it's 360. There's nothing really that does 360.
Well, the power plant is actually massive.
This didn't run out.
It looks like it occupies a 5x5 grid.
What is it?
The nuclear power plant.
Oh yeah, we need not only that, but we need the particle accelerator as well.
What is the power particle accelerator under?
Should be under production, I think. Yeah.
It is also big, but not as square. It's 5x4.
You know what I could do? That would be better. Doesn't need to be big. Just a regular sized one, I think should be fine. I know. I know I'm losing it. It's fine. There we go. And then there we go. There we go. Now this will protect it from this eating away at it, and it'll fill up. And so when the train is doing the handoff, it won't lose any. All right, I think I fixed this. I think our aluminum woes are gone for now. I say that as I see some of these aren't going as fast as they could. It's because of this. This is because I'm these weren't going at full capacity, but now they should be. I'm learning the benefit of actually using slower conveyors versus fast ones sometimes.
Why?
So when you have stuff being pulled out of like one fast conveyor belt, it seems to me like pulling stuff out as quick as possible will sometimes pull like more out than maybe you need, and it kind of can starve machines further on down the line. If you have, so you're using, what is it, the manifold kind of feed style that works fine. That works better if you have a little bit too much than the machines can handle. But when you have like exactly the right amount, like when you're being like exactly efficient with them, it will sometimes take a while for like the last few machines on the line to really get saturated enough, if they ever do. Just because of the, you know, the various little things that can cause things to like slightly lag behind. But if you pull stuff out a little slower from the earlier machines, it, as far as I can tell, will helpfully help the machines further on down the line to get more saturated. That's what it seems like to me, anyway. So far, it's working. My theory has been put to practice, and it is so far actually working. So
Complete global saturation.
this is gonna fail again at some point, I think. It's just what it's gonna be. What I really want to do is like take some of this.
Dang it.
And then fill these. That'll help alleviate it a little bit. It's like aiming for like exact efficiency is a little bit iffy due to that. This is 4 or 3. This is feeding in. Should be fine. It's just not getting quite as much. Oh. Put here. There we go. I've spent an hour and a half just on this so far, just on increasing aluminum production. But, you know, we need it. We need the aluminum, for sure. This will actually get full eventually, and then it'll just start going all that way, and that'll be wonderful. gotten full. Might honestly be time for another sink. Can I sink into this? Let's find out. That changed anything. That's fine. All right. I mean, yeah, I could. I could. All right, here's more for you. Do you hear about the disastrous Blizzard Q&A?
What happened this time?
It was all fake, or at least a lot of it was. They did a Q&A, and a lot of the questions were very like, how important we're getting the cutscenes in the highest quality available, and stuff like that. It was extremely marketing. And somebody looked up the various accounts that were credited for asking these questions, and a lot of them were either like newly created or completely without activity for the last like 13 years.
So what you're telling me is that Blizzard is ready to announce another LGBTQ character for Overwatch.
Yeah, but it won't be available in certain countries, I'm sure.
Or was it so bad that they have to tighten their collars and say we're announcing Overwatch 3?
We're announcing Overwatch 3. This time we're serious about the PvE content. This time we'll do it for real. Just give us more money, we promise. We'll do it. We'll do it this time.
This time.
This belt had iron ore sitting on it, and it was connected to the smelter. But the
Yeah.
iron ore wouldn't go into it, the smelter, even though the iron ore was on the belt.
I think this game is like being a little bit weird.
Buggy.
Yeah, like the further we go, like the more kind of buggy it's being.
Well, we can't get much further. We're kind of like on the last available step.
Yeah, we are. Of course, the last available step is extremely long. But yes, that is true, we are.
I know you mentioned that the developer doesn't really want it to go that route, but I kind of wish there was a bit of a like tower defense.
It would be interesting.
To give you a little bit of something else to do while you're waiting for the machines to make the things you need.
You're not supposed to do something else. You're supposed to expand your production if machines are making things too slowly.
Your face is expanding.
That's true.
Just is this even too much? Is this too much for this? What's a programmable splitter like?
You can play Doom on it.
Be kind of cool. System. Lock system. Oh, you can just you can add. Okay, so programmable splitter is like a smart splitter, except where a smart splitter you can only do like one object per output. A programmable splitter you could do multiple objects per output. You can like set them up. I was hoping that you could do quantities, but it's not gonna happen. This is gonna empty out if I do it like this. A better way would be to maybe put it here. So I will do that. I know I'm mixing my conveyor speeds, but sue me.
So I know you can like upgrade a thing by like having the appropriate materials and just kind of like painting over something you already built. Can you downgrade?
Yes. I believe you can, yeah. Left. Alright, this is fine. So this will keep on making, and it'll only overflow as much as it's making instead of pulling out of this, which is better. And then they get zipped up. And then zip that way. Alright. I'll have to go up and connect that. It doesn't even need to be. It doesn't even need to be that much. All right, I'm gonna make this slow as hell. I'm gonna make this super slow. It doesn't need to be fast at all. It can be slow as balls.
So instead of fast and furious, it's slow and calm.
I'm trying. I'm trying from now on. If like I'm not gonna redo all of my other systems unless they like need it. I am trying my best now to try to use appropriately speeded conveyor belts and see if it makes a difference, because I think it does make a difference if you use them like smartly. That's fine. Oh no. What happened? Something's wrong with the trains.
What have you done?
I didn't do anything. I haven't touched the trains at all
You were thinking about them.
today. They've been working fine for the last hour and a half. More than that. They were working fine yesterday or last week.
You were thinking about the train.
Whoops.
Thinking about running a train.
Choo choo, motherfucker. Because of this needs to get fixed. I need to figure out why this is happening. This is the issue here. Why are they stopping here when they really should be stopping like all the way over here? That one stopping there is fine because this one is right here and it's waiting. What is this one waiting for? I don't know. What are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
He shouldn't be stopped. He shouldn't be stopped, and I don't know why he stopped. It's the same. This is like a bug or something. This, I don't remember how I fixed it, but this is like some kind of pathing bug. Like there's no reason that this train should be stopped, but for some reason it is. And I think what I did to fix it was I just deleted and re-put all of the things. It's kind of annoying, but I guess what I want is one of these over here. Does that help? Because they should be able to go all the way up here and stop if there's a train, you know, over there.
Harvest it.
No, I won't, Space Mommy. I refuse.
Harvest it.
What is wrong with you?
What?
The conveyor lift won't actually move anything. There we go.
All right.
Well, that's a bug.
What's that?
Oh, never mind. I thought I'm going around just blowing things up, and I thought the poison plants that stand up and spray the gas were spraying the gas, even though I blow them up, but I just couldn't see the one in the bushes.
Wow.
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 I'm using like 1,000,000 iron ingots per second, and my iron ingot box is totally the number of ingots in it is totally stable, even though it's not full. The input and output seem to be.
What are you having trouble with? Is it next to a wall, or are you trying to put it in through like a wall hole?
No, I fixed the left. It always just requires me to delete a bunch of stuff and redo it.
I haven't had issues to that extent, but I have had the occasional issues with the conveyors, like suddenly stopping for no reason. Usually on a game load, like something breaks, it doesn't consider them connected. Not usually in the middle of a game, though.
I just realized I had kind of a stupid design here.
I gotta clear my inventory out a little bit. All right, well, the aluminum is pretty much taken care of now. It should be running okay. Now that the trains are running okay again. That's fine. All right, my next stop. Oh, you were needing aluminum, right,
Yeah.
Craig? Let me see if I even have any extras, any extra aluminum. I might not actually have enough to give any to you. See if the ingots are getting backed up. They shouldn't be, actually. They like specifically should not be getting backed up. In fact. I think. Probably don't even need this. I'm trying to just kill them. They're getting backed up here, but only because this is slow. Yeah, I don't know that I actually have the aluminum to give to you, Craig. Do you need something specifically aluminum? Because I could maybe give you some of that. Like, do you need a specific item? Other than ingots? You might have to do the aluminum dance yourself, Craig. It might have to happen.
Yeah.